Today we're doing a brief film on memory. I've kind of been fascinated by memory ever since my wife sent me to the store one day for 4 items, and I kept circling the building trying to remember what that 4th item was. And then later I did a little study of mnemonics and was able to remember lists of things. When I used to substitute teach, I would memorize the regular teacher's role, and then I would call the role from memory, and the kids thought I knew them because I had a list, because I could call their name, and usually their face kind of lit up when I'd call their name, and so I knew who they were. But I've had interest in memory too, because as I get older, I notice that it's harder for me to remember names and dates and phone numbers, and so I'm trying to work on a system that will help me maybe not to be a super memory, but to not panic when my intellectual memory is not as strong as it used to be. We're blessed when we're born with 2 forms of memory. One is intellectual, where we retain facts and figures and names, and the other is experiential. And today I'm wanting to focus on the experiential memory as a fallback when I have less intellectual memory. And the way I'm going to do for myself, and I would suggest that everybody develop a system of some kind, either like I'm doing or like comes to your own mind, and that is to catalog your experience in segments. I'm going to catalog my own life experience in 5-year segments. And so I would start with 1930 when I was born and going through 1985. So I'll basically have 17 segments as of now that I would catalog my experiential life in. And so as I build this memory system for myself, I'm going to picture a clock, the face of a clock. And so I will basically be looking at a computer program that will come up in 5-year segments anytime I draw it up. It could be 1930, it could be 1950, anywhere up to presently 1985. In 5-year segments, and each of these 5-year segments will be the face of the clock will remind me of the events of my life at that moment in time. And so 12 o'clock will be related to my family. 3 o'clock will be related to my friends and community. 6 o'clock will be related to my schooling and work. 9 o'clock will be related to my point of view, the kind of things that I present and argue, my point of view religiously, my point of view politically, my point of view patriotically. And so each 5-year segment will show up, and then I'll simply try to build on that over time. Each time I look at a given 5-year period, I'll try to insert more content that I can either share in life experience or particularly share with my grandkids as they become more concerned when they say, "Grandpa, tell me how things used to be." Well, I can say not only how would you like to know how they used to be, but exactly when would you like to know how they used to be. And I'll have that 5-year period that I can present to them. They might want to know how were things during World War II, or how were things when people began to come back from the war, or how were things in the 80s when Ronald Reagan was president, and so forth. And so by having my life organized into these 5-year periods, they will think I'm a much smarter grandfather than I really am. And so I hope this becomes a blessing to you, as well as I'm hoping that it becomes a strengthening to me, and to where I don't panic just because I don't remember somebody's name when I try to introduce them.